Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 31 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Last time, we finished up the first day of investigation, and we started the trial portion. However, Francisca's not going to be prosecuting because she was shot, and Edgeworth's taking her place. Though, that actually does bring me to the topic of Francisca's purpose as a character. Essentially, Francisca was created with the intent of making it where a prosecutor other than Edgeworth could be in cases 2 and 3 and be formidable while still losing. Therefore, just making it where Edgeworth could actually be a formidable prosecutor. Because, I mean, Edgeworth wouldn't be this renowned prosecutor if he kept losing to Phoenix in every case. So, anyways, essentially Francisca was created to make Edgeworth look better by comparison. Like I said, no one messes with Edgeworth. Now let's go cross-examining. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony?
Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m. and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah.
Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about?
She's the defendant Matt Ungod's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir.
Oh, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she'll grace us with her presence.
Gumshoe, you have Maggie! Don't be greedy!
When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ungod. After visiting his room, she went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir.
I see, and that's when she found the victim's body.
Though why would she keep getting Corida for the show? That's the biggest thing. I know the whole truth behind it all, but why would she invite Corida to Juan to Matt's show? I mean, literally, the two hate each other, and I don't think Juan would have been in the best of moods after losing to Matt. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Corida was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good look. Look at the crime photo. Now a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana.
Banana.
His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir.
Yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
Then what about the knife? Yes, in that case, the only murderer could be Richard Wellington. He broke out of prison and killed Juan Corida, and then coated his bandana with banana-scented cologne. It's his mark.
It seems I've been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here.
Autopsy report added to the court record. Has it been updated? Edgeworth's first line of defense. Right, I will come with the full autopsy reports to strike you down, right? Yeah, for this one you just gotta keep pressing. And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The German ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
Well, we thought that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory then.
Yes, because a fan, they loved Juan Corida so much that they killed him to get his guitar. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case?
The guitar was at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir! Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't even have his guitar.
So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all.
Which means it has everything to do with the case. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with the knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was a reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir.
Why arrest on guard?
Matt and One Corridor were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's moving up in my book. As for evidence, there's the German Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Ungar's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used for stabbing.
It was all sticky on the handles and the fingerprints came out pretty clear, sir. And there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood.
Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir.
What? German Ninja's button.
All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Ungard won, did he not?
Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? One Corridor was always one step behind Mr. Ungard and everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally got up, ready for the big final showdown.
But Mr. Cordo lost the Grand Prix in the end.
That's too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing.
Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Ungard was beating Mr. Corda in the popularity polls.
Well, yeah, I guess, but...
Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all.
Yes, I quite agree. Well, Detective?
It's not, well... I guess if you went that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive.
Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired.
No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! That's... No, Mr. Edgeworth! I have failed you!
I look forward to your pension negotiations. I may not be able to cut your... Francisco may have committed the ultimate pay cut against you, Gumshoe, but that doesn't mean that I can't come out swinging. Literally, Edgeworth taking what little Gumshoe has left.
No, Detective, let's continue with the testimony.
No, not my poor pension due! All 10 cents!
Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed.
Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What do you want from me, Mr. Edgeworth? I've been loyal to you for years. I even put up with your adoptive sister.
What about what I was saying? Hello, anyone? Like I said, it was a delight. Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim?
Huh? I don't get you, pal.
Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Huh? But can't you tell this by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it.
Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterwards.
Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir! Strike him down with your holy lightning and fire!
Alright, I knew it had to be that piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, that's it! That's a perfect match, pal! Mr. Edgeworth will struck you down!
Ugh!
That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat.
Okay. When was this button found?
Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Gatewater.
Did you round up everyone who knew Mr. Gorda? Did you round up his doctor, his tax manager, just his financial advisor, his masseuse? Did you round up everyone, Gumshoe? His plastic surgeon? The guy who checked out his groceries 5 months ago?
And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button.
So it was always immediately after the murder.
The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what's he trying to say about me here? Okay. Yeah, because I'm 99% sure that it's the costume. That basically, how could the knife have been done if basically Ungard was in his costume? That's the main thing. Let's just try to figure out how to go about doing it. So how are the fingerprints arranged on the knife?
What? What do you mean, pal?
By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand?
Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we don't actually think of that.
I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless! Were you paying attention to the testimony, Mr. Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So is the defendant the owner of this knife then?
There is no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he did bring the knife.
Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't walk around with it either.
Well, this isn't good. If the prosecution can prove it was premeditated murder, we're done for.
Phoenix!
Yes?
There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late.
A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Ungard's fingerprints.
Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing.
We're still in a world of trouble.
Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be, okay, Phoenix?
Okay! Basically, it's the fingerprints. Okay. Okay! Like I said, it's the costume. Basically, Ungard couldn't have done it if he was doing fingerprint.
I'm sorry, but I can't see it's faulty, blah blah blah.
Okay, I know basically. Okay. Do 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 do. Oh no. I know it's the fingerprints. What am I missing? Okay. Yeah. What is it? What is it? Okay, come on. Come on, what is it? Okay, what is it? What is it? I'm sorry, I am so sorry. I'm trying to think of what it is. I know it's the knife. I know it's the knife. That his fingerprints were all over the knife. Basically, this knife could not have been used because Ungard would have been in costume. Come on. What is it? What am I missing? Okay, but what is it? Is it this? No. Okay, is it the knife itself? It's the knife itself! What the? I swear, what is it with this? Wait a second! What? So the basis of your argument that this was a pre-made murder is simply that my client brought a knife beforehand.
That's right, Bell, the defendant.
Did not buy this knife.
Huh?
Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Huh?
It has Gatewater sealed into the handle.
Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before.
That's what they're going on with the fact he didn't own the knife, not the fact that he was in costume. Not that he was reported that he was in costume during the murder. I'm going like 5 steps ahead of this case, but still, if he was wearing his costume, he would not have been able to leave fingerprints on the knife. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel.
Uh-oh!
The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated.
Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit that this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not realize this. Except maybe... Oh, just burned the gum.
But I didn't know.
Oh. The question is... Where did this knife come from?
Why is that obvious? It came from the victim, Mr. Quarter's room.
Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what was on top of the table.
There's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matangard. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matangard's knife was missing. Mr. Angard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant! A brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning.
This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown?
He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well...
Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here,
that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
What the? What was that just now? Just glitching out. Actually, I do. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court is yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's currents for all of us. Yeah, basically, this is an instant defeat. Don't let my bar fool you.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? It's a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. This scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Sorry about that.
Oh, well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth?
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion?
You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
Yeah, that does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Could Miss Andrews really have set the glass down without thinking? There's no way! If I appear weak here, the trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty.
They might just fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough.
The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Nothing escapes my notice. I am the prosecution god of this world. Hell, I am the god in general of this world. All the fan base favors me. The creators favor me. The writers favor me. Everyone favors me. They all favor Miles Edgeworth because I am that smug and beautiful. Then, of course, has been brought thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. For fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Yeah! I can't believe I fell into another trap! Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corder. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and sent the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Well, wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness.
What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking?
You're upset, Mia? Yes, Maya has a chance to survive, and you're upset at this. Now then, witness, please take your name and occupation. It's happening! The moment we've all been waiting for. I'm not ending the video off anytime soon until we start the next testimony. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Why does this keep happening to me? Ah! Gotcha. Ah! I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Etty boy, it's been like, what, a year since we met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was the wicked witch of the bright witness stand! I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. Do you? So today, I'm gonna tell you anything and everything, even things that don't have to do with this terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all the court needs to know.
Ooh! Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt the Scramps.
Yes, madam.
No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please! Anyways, witness your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hotheads nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Mr. Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that ungod saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corda. Even though Juan and Matt were the same age. But those two were the same age. Amen to that. Anyways, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed on the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
Oh my. Okay, I think that... Yeah,
After I finish reading this, we'll end the episode. Anyways, after the ceremony, I went to the pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Ungod, Mad Ungod. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
So Mr. Ungod came out of the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Which we will start in the next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer. If you come back for the next one, if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you later. Bye.